California is ablaze, and the sheer magnitude of the destruction has left the state and its residents reeling. In recent days, wildfires have ripped through Los Angeles County, leaving behind a trail of devastation that is difficult to fathom. Governor Gavin Newsom has called for an independent investigation into how water shortages may have impeded efforts to control these fires, which have claimed at least 11 lives, destroyed 10,000 homes and structures, and forced nearly 500,000 people to evacuate. President Joe Biden described the scene as a war zone, warning that the death toll could rise further as strong winds threaten to fan the flames even more. Among the worst-hit areas are Pacific Palisades and the sprawling San Fernando Valley, home to countless families. The Palisades fire alone now covers an area twice the size of Manhattan, obliterating everything in its path. Entire neighborhoods, lined with well-manicured homes, have been reduced to ash and rubble. Small businesses, beloved local eateries, and landmarks along the Pacific Coast Highway have also been consumed, leaving residents grappling with the reality that life as they knew it may never return. For residents like Caroline Faraday, a longtime Los Angeles local, the experience has been nothing short of harrowing. You think you're prepared for this, but nothing prepares you for the sight of your community burning, she said. Caroline was one of thousands forced to evacuate as flames crept closer to her home. It took me almost 2 hours to make a drive that usually takes 20 minutes, she recounted. While she has since returned home, the fire still burns nearby, and her car remains packed, ready for another evacuation at a moment's notice. The relentless nature of the fires. What makes these fires particularly unmanageable is their sheer unpredictability. High-speed Santa Ana winds, combined with months of drought, have created a perfect storm. These winds, notorious for their dry and intense force, pull moisture out of the air and ground, turning vegetation into kindling. The fires move with terrifying speed, often giving residents mere minutes to evacuate. Unlike many past wildfires, which primarily affected rural areas, these blazes have encroached upon urban centers. Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, and parts of West Hollywood have experienced the flames, marking a disturbing escalation in the reach of these fires. For residents who have long associated wildfires with remote brushlands, seeing iconic city streets under threat has been both surreal and terrifying. Water shortages and firefighting challenges. Efforts to contain the fires have been hampered by a series of setbacks, chief among them water shortages. In Palisades, a major reservoir was undergoing repairs, rendering it inaccessible at a critical time. Fire hydrants, designed for single-structure fires, are inadequate for battling blazes of this magnitude. Without sufficient water, firefighters have had to rely heavily on aerial support, including aircraft that scoop seawater to douse the flames. These aerial efforts are impressive but limited. Pilots work tirelessly, using helicopters to collect water from reservoirs and dumping retardants to create firebreaks. Despite their best efforts, the scale of the fires often outpaces their capacity. Firefighters on the ground face an equally grueling battle, forming lines of defense to prevent the flames from spreading further. A humanitarian crisis. The wildfires have triggered a humanitarian crisis, with hundreds of thousands displaced and countless others left without power. At the height of the crisis, nearly 400,000 residents were without electricity, some for days on end. Others faced water issues, with advisories to boil water due to contamination concerns. The air quality has deteriorated to hazardous levels, filled with particulates from burning homes and man-made materials. Residents have been forced to don masks to protect themselves, echoing the days of the COVID-19 pandemic. Health experts warn of long-term respiratory issues for those exposed to the toxic air, compounding the immediate dangers posed by the fires. Stories of survival and loss amid the chaos. Stories of survival and loss highlight the resilience and vulnerability of those affected. Residents recount the agonizing decisions of what to take when evacuating. I packed what I couldn't replace: family photos, keepsakes, and important documents, one evacuee shared. Others weren't as fortunate, fleeing with little more than the clothes on their backs as flames overtook their homes. The fires have also brought out the best and worst in humanity. While some have risked their lives to save others, instances of looting have been reported in evacuated areas. Authorities have imposed curfews to deter criminal activity, but for many, the psychological toll of losing both their homes and their sense of security is immeasurable. The road ahead as firefighters continue their uphill battle, the focus is also shifting toward accountability and prevention. Questions about resource allocation, infrastructure readiness, and the role of climate change in exacerbating these fires loom large. Governor Newsom's call for an investigation into water management highlights the systemic challenges that must be addressed to prevent future disasters. The road to recovery will be long and arduous. Rebuilding homes, businesses, and lives will take years, and for many, the scars, both physical and emotional, will remain long after the flames are extinguished. A call for change. California's wildfires are a stark reminder of the devastating impact of climate change and the urgent need for action. Rising temperatures, prolonged droughts, and extreme weather events are no longer distant threats but present realities. As the state grapples with the immediate crisis, it must also invest in sustainable solutions to mitigate future risks. For now, the priority remains containing the fires and ensuring the safety of residents. But as the smoke clears, the lessons from this tragedy must not be ignored. The scale of destruction witnessed in Los Angeles and surrounding areas underscores the need for systemic change, because fighting a fire on this scale should never be deemed impossible again.